Hey everyone, on our Catalina build it's now tip time, and what we're going to talk about on tip time is we're going to show you how to evenly and nicely fill seams that need filling with filler. As you can see on our Catalina, on the main body, I've done a little bit of filling here, and I'm not particularly worried about that because there's not any fine detail either side. But if we go down towards the gun areas, you can see that I have put a really nice thin line of filler either side of this. And the reason I've done that is either side there is some very, very nice fine rivet detail on here. And I don't want to lose that. So what I've done is I'm now going to show you exactly how we do it. So if we move across to the wing was the problematical part of this build. The reason being is that the gates, it didn't go together particularly very well. I had to put quite a bit of force on it, and even then, as you can see, I was mentioning about some melt I got because of the amount of glue I had to get in there to actually get the whole thing together. And I use EMA plastic weld, which is pretty brutal stuff, but even then this needed, you know, plenty of clamping and leaving overnight to get it all together. The downside is the gates on this 5-piece wing, not 6-piece wing, as I think I said in the last video, is that they leave some nasty marks on the leading edge of the wings. There's one there, and you can see another one there. And basically, there is a lot of really fine rivet detail either side of these. So obviously, I want to fill them, make them good, but I don't want to damage any of the detail or lose any of the detail that's on here. And the way we do this is, first of all, I've got some little tape. So I take a bit of tape off and I lay that just that side of the filler, like so. And I get a second piece and I lay that the other side. So what I have there is basically I've created a dam area between there and there, and the only bit that we're actually going to fill is that piece there where it actually is. Now I use Revelplasto, and the reason I use Revelplasto is that it dries really quickly, it's really, really good, you don't need loads and loads of it, and it's easy to apply. So I like to apply mine on a little piece of paper or something. These are actually just standard post-it notes, so I can get off and use them again. So I take a little bit out, like so, and you're only using a small amount at a time. Use a cocktail stick, and as you can see, I can pick that up quite nicely, and then I can run it down the seam. Like so. Now it's not going to need much because, as you can see the bits there where it's actually filled. The rest of it will just come away. But we'll just even that out like so. And now, as if by magic, we take off the tape. We take off the tape, and we're left with a really nice fine fill that I can gently rub, and that will actually take all that off, and it hopefully won't damage too much of the rivet detail. And basically that's how this technique works on all sorts of fillers. As I said, you don't need to spend loads and loads of time. It works best with the Plasto because the Plasto has a tendency to weld itself to plastic rather well. But otherwise, yeah, that's the tip time for this build. And if you'll excuse me now, I'll get on with the rest of the filling that's needed on this Catalina, rub her down, and then we'll talk again about how we're going to paint her.